Hey everybody, Dr. Amanda here from Even Flow Chiropractic. We are so glad to have you in our healing house for families. So, you all have started your education process. This is something that we really value here. Okay, we want you to make the best healthcare decisions for you and your family, which means you need a good education. So today we're going to talk about why you're really here. So there are all kinds of chiropractors out there, but here we are brain-based. And in fact, every chiropractor on the planet is influencing the neurology. And here's why they are doing that. Okay, so when we think about the creation of life, it starts with two people coming together, right? And so these two things come together. There's a huge electric impulse and boom, they start to create cell, and 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and 8 becomes 64, and so on. And it develops into this little blackberry or mulberry is what they call it. And then these cells start to differentiate. So what causes these cells to differentiate? Okay, so we actually get this formation of the brain. And from here we have the spinal cord. At this stage, it's called the notochord, but we're going to keep it simple. Okay? This spinal cord is where all life travels through. So as the brain is developing, we start to create pathways. Boom. Pathways. Here we go. And everything the scientists studied, and they learned that what starts on the left side of the brain comes over and crosses into the right. And we get all of these pathways that develop and so forth and so on, and they go. And then at the end of these, we get little nerve buds, is what we call them. Nerve buds. Okay? From these nerve buds, the information that is coming tells these cells what to become. Okay? So then, what do we get? Well, we get a heart, right? We get a stomach, of course. We get a pancreas. We get the intestines. We get the lungs. And so forth. We get the arms, the feet, the extremities. And everything develops from the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, this electrical impulse that gives us life. So, when I ask you, what is the most important organ in the body? A lot of people say heart, but it is not. We can have a heart transplant. We cannot have a brain transplant. And life begins with the flow from the brain, and it ends when that flow is cut off. So to further reiterate the importance of the brain, let's think about it. Well, if the heart is the most important, surely it would be completely encased. Well, what is completely encased? So the brain is actually completely encased in bone. It has its own casing, right? The heart and lungs, they're very important, but they don't have that. They have a cage, okay? And it doesn't stop there at the brain. It goes through the spinal cord. So this body is so amazing. It makes these vertebrae that house the spinal cord. And to give us freedom to express ourselves, to move through the earth, we have these movable vertebrae. So they stabilize us, and they also allow us to move and locomote and interact with the world. So the job of our nervous system is to integrate these internal and external experiences. Okay? Now, if the nervous system is so amazing, why does it ever get flustered or get out of sorts? Or do we have pain or we have disease? Good question. So, like I said, the nervous system is designed to integrate all of the experiences. But just like everything else, we have a capacity or a bandwidth. Okay? So sometimes we have too much stress and the body says, I can't handle all that right now. So what does it do? It binds onto energy. And now your whole system is distorted, even if the primary point is here. Okay? Maybe we lift, we twist, and we throw something out, and we keep going on. All of these things happen to us through life. So when these things go wrong, we call it a subluxation. So subluxation, which you've already read about. Now let me break down what that is. Okay, so if we are 100% healthy, what do we have? Well, we have 100% of energy here in the brain. We have 100% life force. It goes down the spinal cord to every cell, every organ, every muscle, every tissue in the body. Now, how much energy do you want flowing to your heart, to your spleen, to your kidneys? 100%, right? Now, what happens if that's diminished? So for most of us, let's say that the nerve flow to the heart has cut down to 70%. Most of us actually don't notice that, right? When it's dropping down to 90, we don't know. The first sign of heart disease is a heart attack. So we've lost a lot more than 30% of function when we have a heart attack, actually. So if we have this decreased nerve flow because one of these vertebrae has been shifted out of place, putting pressure on the nerve or stopping the flow from being 100%, over time, we get dis-ease, discomfort is usually first, dis-ease, disorganization, okay? So we call this subluxation, and sub means less than, so less than. Lux means light or energy, and ation means state of. So we literally have a state of less energy flowing to the organs. And that's a shame. So the main job for us as chiropractors is to make sure that you have 100% of your life force flowing to 100% of your body for 100% of your life. And that is why here at Even Flow Chiropractic, we will accept anybody with a spine and we encourage lifelong care.